Hello, everybody. This is Louise Eddington, the Cosmic Owl of Cosmic Owl Astrology. And today is Veterans Day or Armistice Day, as we knew it in the UK, November the 11th, 2023. And Venus is about to move into Capricorn. Now, if I tear up at any point, we lost our precious dog this morning, Ozzy. Ozzy was almost 16 and was just not well, and it seemed he was actually sorry about this. I just wanted to ignore that. He just wanted to. He was actively kind of dying, and we decided to kind of help him along with that. So I am feeling a little sad, but also, we said lots of good goodbyes um, and spent lots of time with him, and life goes on, right? So, but also the same morning, my a friend, an astrologer called Michael Luton, died this morning too, or I heard that he died this morning. And I met him when I went to the ESA conference um, uh, in Colorado, and he was just lovely. And he was a very well-known astrologer, and so it's been a sad morning. So, but like as I said, life goes on. But I just wanted to explain if I seem a little bit down. But I did want to get this out to you because I think this Venus in Capricorn journey is highly significant for several reasons. First of all, Venus in Capricorn is very determined. It's kind of boss bitch energy. It's very like, if you think of Venus as not just relationships, for heaven's sake, it is the archetype of the divine feminine, but also it's um, it's the hierarchical ruler of the sign of Capricorn in esoteric astrology. Venus in Capricorn is very determined and as a creative energy and an energy that um, uh, sees over kind of social mores and social ways of being. And and Capricorn being the sign of the wise elder and elderhood, but also determination and time and building and achieving and just really kind of moving on and upwards and through obstacles. This really is a time that obstacles can be much easier to work around with determination. It's kind of not firework energy. This is very practical, very much about going after what I want. Capricorn, in many ways, is very much about building what you want, okay, especially with Venus, because Venus is earthly desires. And so, this is Venus is also money, and there's the institutions. So there's that kind of energy contained within Venus in Capricorn, and Venus in Capricorn often kind of creates this calm, mature kind of energy within ourselves and our leaders, okay, and our kind of the people who kind of make the laws and the institutions. So, you can probably see where I'm going with that. It can also be activity regarding the environment and nature. And this could be a time of focus on the environment and our own environment locally, and taking a lot of action on kind of clean energy or something like that as well. So, everybody will experience Venus in Capricorn differently, of course. And I've got quite a few things to say about it. So, let me get my chart up. And I've got whole lists of aspects and things. But the first thing I will say is, and did not mean to do that right away, at least. Venus is moving into the sign of Capricorn today and will be in the sign of Capricorn until December the 7th, okay, at 1:13 a.m. So it's a very relatively short journey, but again, I think there's some real significant occurrences as Venus goes through this journey. Now, one thing I will point out is that Venus is entering Capricorn and Pluto is right at the end. And Venus and Pluto have very many similarities in nature, with Venus being about earthly desires and also Pluto really kind of being about deep soul desires and really kind of digging in deep to those energies. So, there's a lot going on here with Venus and Pluto at the beginning and end, I'm going to say, because, oh, sorry, I was just trying to open my Venus star point file. While I'll talk about that. So it feels like we've got some really significant beginnings and endings, okay? And in so many ways. Sorry. I am a bit discombobulated, but, bear with me, please, because it is helping me to do this, okay? Really, it really is. Anyway, so we did have a Venus retrograde in Capricorn. And I wanted to give you the dates. That's what I'm trying to find here. Okay, Venus retrograde in Capricorn. Well, the last one was at January the 8th, 2022 at 18 Capricorn. So I actually do really want to go back to that. I remember it well because, as you guys know, I do a Venus retrograde class. We will have the next one coming up starting in February, and I will talk about that more later, and that will be, I'll have a link available to sign up for that soon. Anyway, Venus, the last time we had a retrograde in Venus was January the 29th, 2022. Venus moved, she turned direct there, and the retrograde began on December the 19th, 2021. And I kind of feel like we all know what was going on at that time, so I'm not going to majorly talk about that. But I do want to mention that Venus and Pluto were together at that time. They were both in Capricorn and both really working that retrograde together. And it was also involving Mars. We had a lot of this battle of institutional energies happening, really focused on that time. All right. So digging up what we really desire, all that kind of energy. And the star point for that retrograde was at 18 Capricorn. So anyway, I do really want to move back to today though, because I don't have time to keep going, back and forth and back and forth. So Venus enters Capricorn today. Oh, she's been moving particularly fast. This is her second time in Capricorn this year because she started the year in Capricorn. She's also way out of bounds, and she's out of bounds until the 25th of November, almost for the whole retrograde, which means she's eccentric, she's acting out of character, she's really kind of, off the beyond the pale, if you like, kind of doing things differently, prepared to really take things differently. So, again, a lot going on. Now, for her journey through the sign of Capricorn, I'm going to go through the aspects, but I do want to mention a couple of really big things. And these will be mentioned in many other videos too. But in 4 days' time, after she enters the sign of Capricorn, Saturn will station direct. And then on November the 19th, Pluto enters Aquarius and goes to 0 Aquarius, where Venus last met Mars, incidentally, at 0 Aquarius. Then on November the 25th, Mercury stations retrograde at 22 degrees Sagittarius, the sign that Venus has just left. But this is a lot of shifting planetary energy, all right, while she's in this sign in this short journey. Then on November the 30th, Nessus, Centaur Nessus, revealer of intergenerational abuse, revealer of abuses of power, stations direct as well. Then some other Mars stations retrograde on December the 6th, the day before Venus moves into Aquarius. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 planetary stations if we count the centaurs, and I do, for especially for this. And we have Pluto leaving the sign of Capricorn while Venus is moving through the sign of Capricorn in her out of bounds state. So you can tell this is a big journey for Venus. She's treading over some old ground, and she's going to meet up with some old foes, if you like, or some old friends. And she is going to bring some major change in this period, or this period is, because it's not Venus working alone. Okay, so we are going to move quickly through the aspects. So I'm going to get Venus start. So the first aspect we get is one I would normally not look at, but I am going to, because the Venus Moon cycle, the square and the opposition and the squares, the opposition and the conjunction are worth looking at through this journey because it's such an important one. So just the very next day after she moves into Capricorn, the moon moves into Aries. We're heading towards a full moon, but the moon is on the world point and squares Venus in Capricorn at these world points or cardinal points. Real new beginnings. This is kind of like the Fool card. By the way, I have pulled 3 cards for this journey, so we'll look at those at the end. And so this indicates another indicator of what an important journey it is. Okay. Now, at the same time, and I am not going to get it exact, but Venus will make a quincunx to Sedna. Sedna is, back at 0 degrees Gemini. She's there for the next foreseeable future. She was last here at the start of kind of the Bronze Ages, the Neolithic era. This is about how we are in community with each other and in allyship and how we're working together. So the first day is pretty significant. Then the next aspect Venus makes, and some of these are more supportive aspects. I'm not going to go into huge detail about them, but on the 13th, Venus, already at 2 degrees, will sextile creatrix Haumea. Okay, and Haumea is birth and creation, and she is helping all of these planets create something new. And this is in Scorpio, and this is Capricorn to Scorpio, earth and water. It kind of is like digging in deep to really kind of dig deep into your empowerment to birth something new from our roots. Okay. Now then, on to November the 14th. Venus will actually make some aspects to Black Moon Lilith. She will also sextile Juno. You can see that. So all of these, Juno is, the queen of the gods. And she is there saying, we are going to fight this disempowerment that's happening for women, children, the feminine. Black Moon Lilith is also there kind of wobbling back and forth going, no, we're not having this. We're not going back in the corner. But so those aspects are kind of ongoing, these sextiles to Scorpio, but also on November the 14th, which would have been my father. Oh, my father's birthday, but it's also King Charles' birthday. Venus will actually quincunx Mars. Okay, she will get to 3 degrees, and these two are in an aspect of adjustment. Mars is coming to its retrograde. Look at this. At that point, the moon will be here opposing all of this energy over here. It's just before the full moon that's going to be at 24 Taurus. And this is a powerful fixed T square, but Venus in Capricorn is saying, I'm going to break this up. I'm going to change these things and we're going to build something new. All right. So then on November the 16th, Venus will square the nodes. Any aspect squaring the nodes is a huge one. You can see that Venus is now at 535. The North Node in Aries is at 535. And these are cardinal signs as well, initiating change. This is a T square to the nodes. And this is moving towards the North Node of kind of new beginnings, new starts. When Venus and the North Node meet, that's going to be a really important moment, but that will actually be in Pisces. But this is a turning point. Again, another turning point. Now then, as you can see, and let me just get it exact. So where are we? We're at the 16th. So we're at the 16th. Saturn has stationed direct, all right, too. So we've got that tide turning energy there as well, all in Pisces, all of these things in Pisces, which incidentally, Venus is said to be a very happy bunny in the sign of Pisces. In old terms, it's said to be exalted, but she's very princess-like and queenly, you know, and higher love when she's in the sign of Pisces, but she's still in Capricorn here, right? So Venus on November the 18th, right after the square to the nodes, will conjunct Centaur Pholus, which has just come back to 8 degrees, which is stability, which is also about infinity. And Pholus is often tower moments. Is the feminine going to take down the patriarchy, basically? I'm wearing my Petrify the Patriarchy shirt for this video. You know, it is a pretty big moment because it's still square the nodes, a huge turning point. Okay, so, you know, there's going to be changes, I tell you. Over the next few weeks, things are going to shift and change in all areas of life, but particularly around the institutions of our world. On the 21st, by that time, well, before the 21st, Pluto will enter Aquarius. So Pluto will enter Aquarius on the 19th, leaving that building and go and for the final time. Now, I do want to mention something, and this is just a fact. Pluto went into Aquarius on March 23rd, 23. On the very same day, Trump was ordered to hand over files. 7 days later, on March the 30th, he was indicted on the documents case, 30 counts. When Pluto went into Aquarius the second time on January the 20th, 2024, 6 days later, Trump was ordered to pay $83 million to E. Jean Carroll. So, you know, I can't say things will definitely happen, but that's too much of a coincidence. So I did want to mention it. And by the way, Kathy Beale and Andy Brewer and I will be meeting again on Friday to talk about some of this. So Venus square to Vesta is next. Now, Vesta is our inner flame of focus, commitment, devotion, but also it's the state and the hearth. And as I record this on November the 11th, as Venus moves into Capricorn, we've got this massive occultation of Neptune going right over the US. And we had an occultation of Saturn yesterday, and that's occult means hidden, revealing the hidden. It kind of blocks out the light of the planet and then reveals what we were not seeing. Anyway, so we don't know, no, not January the 23rd. Oh, sorry. There we go. November the 21st. Venus is at 11 Capricorn and will square off to Vesta in her own home of Libra, of justice, balance, harmony, after the square to the nodes and after Vesta had been on the south node of no more playing nice, we're not going to do this anymore. You can also see that Pluto is now in Aquarius. On November the 22nd, you can see it's really going through fast because she's almost back in bounds, right? These first aspects happen while she's out of bounds, acting very eccentrically and differently and doing things in a really powerful and new, different, eccentric way. Now, Venus, on November the 22nd, Venus will be at 12 Capricorn and will actually sextile Saturn in Pisces, which is just stationed direct. All right. So, Saturn is pretty much at a standstill, but now Venus comes up and pushes Saturn forward. Saturn, Capricorn being Saturn's sign, is going to say, all right, what action are we taking on what's been revealed? And this will affect all of us. Things are going to be revealed. Things will be revealed depending where it is in your chart, what it's aspecting. But you are really being asked to kind of buckle down, straighten your spine. That's very Venus in Capricorn. Be a bit of a boss bitch, if you like, and take action to build what you want and create those boundaries. Okay, so where are we now? So that's about the end of the aspects, except on the 25th. Venus sextiles Centaur Nessus. Sorry. Oh, geez. Can't I just... Anyway, November the 25th. Venus actually moves back in bounds. She's still out of bounds at this point. Okay, so she's not back in bounds yet. She's still out of bounds. Over here, 16 degrees Capricorn. She will sextile Nessus. That's the revealer of abuses of power. And Nessus is at its station point pretty much by a minute. Nessus is stationing direct 5 days afterwards. So everything that Venus is pushing now, is creating, is taking a stand for, is building, will start to kind of really take effect after she moves back in bounds and after all these planets change directions. So it's pretty huge, by the way. The very next day, November the 26th, Venus will, let me try and get these aspects right this time. Venus will quincunx Jupiter. And so Venus is over here at 17 Capricorn. Quincunx Jupiter in Gemini, which is retrograde, as Jupiter's starting to hit the midpoint of its retrograde. And look at this kite we've got going on there as well. That's a whole other thing going on. Wow, to the nodes. Okay. Fire, passion. But anyway, back to Capricorn. Quincunxes are adjustments. And if you remember, we are under the Gemini star point. That was at 14 degrees Gemini. Jupiter's about to travel back to 14 degrees Gemini a little later, but still, they're very close. And so Venus is kind of saying, well, this is the two so-called benefics. This is saying, let's look at what's shifted, what we know now, what perceptions have shifted, and how can we start making adjustments based on that. So powerful, powerful. Okay, Venus, the next aspect. And by the way, also on the 25th, Mercury stationed retrograde. So we've now had Saturn stationed direct, Pluto enter Aquarius, Mercury station retrograde. So lots of shifting sands. All right. And then the next major aspect Venus will make on November the 27th is that now she has moved to 19 degrees Capricorn and will square Chiron. Now Chiron is back at 19 degrees Aries, cardinal signs initiating change. And Chiron was at 19 Aries when the nodes entered Aries and Libra and was conjunct the eclipse on April the 8th that was at 19 Aries and now is back at 19 degrees Aries, where Chiron will also be because he stations direct at this degree when the nodes leave Aries. So this Aries Libra, like who am I and who am I in relationship and what about justice and what action are we going to take, has been very chironic. And I always feel Chiron is both our wound, we have to see the wound, the light comes in, and it's the healer, it's how we heal. Okay. And Venus squares off to Chiron, initiating that healing journey. Okay. Then she's almost done. And I meant to mention, not actually, she's not quite back in. I must have forgotten the date that she goes back in bounds. She's still out of bounds, so still acting erratically. On November the 30th, Nessus stations direct. So we have Saturn, Nessus. This is Circe. She's just stationed direct as I record this. And then we're going to have Neptune station direct, all in Pisces. Massive tide turning energy, huge things being revealed, clouds parting, all those things. But then before that, after Venus squares off with Chiron, she squares the healer Hygeia on December the 1st. And by this time, she's almost back in bounds. I think I put the dates wrong in my Substack, but anyway, we get the idea. So Venus is back in bounds. No, she's not. She's still out of bounds. She is in Capricorn. So almost this whole journey in Capricorn, Venus is out of bounds, saying, I'm kind of pissed and I'm eccentric and I'm going to do things differently and you can't control me. She's literally kind of more uncontrollable. All right. So Venus in Capricorn will be at 23 degrees as she squares off to Hygeia. But incidentally, this is very close to the degree where Venus, where we had Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, Sun, and Ceres meet back at the start of 2020. So she is really ready to make change. And this is at 23 degrees, which is a very Venusian number. She's starting to create the change. All right. Okay, so now Nessus is direct as well, and she's almost finished her journey, and Venus will next square off to truth teller Eris, because Chiron and Hygeia and Eris are very close together, as you can see here. And so, oops, we kind of moved. So Venus moves to 24 degrees, squares off to truth teller Eris. There's the healing, the Chiron, the wound opens up, but we get the light in it. Hygeia says, here's how we heal. Eris says, I'm done playing nice. Let's shake some tables. And Venus is, yep, still out of bounds. Okay, so This is wild, this journey, okay? And so, but at the same time, like very shortly afterwards, Venus also trines Uranus and, shakes things up. So we've got a lot of shake up energy there. Uranus is in Venus signs still. Uranus was square the Leo star point from the summer of 2023. And if there's a lot of shakeup coming, a lot, a lot, a lot. Later that day, Venus squares off to Hygeia, who is opposing to Hecate, another healing aspect of triple moon goddess saying we have to come to justice. The path forward is through justice and diplomacy and coming together. And then on to the third, 23rd, the third, sorry. Venus is finally back in bounds, but she's almost finished her journey, okay? So on the 23rd, she's back at 25 Capricorn. She does have a square to Black Moon Lilith, who's moved back into Libra from Scorpio and is with Hecate and Vesta. I think there's going to be some real kind of charges, court cases, but also some coming together and reconciliation with a lot of people in many ways, but it's all driven by the feminine archetype, let's say. So on December the 4th, again, she leaves on December the 7th. So she's really almost done. So December the 4th, Venus will sextile Neptune. And as she sextiles Neptune, Neptune is stationing direct on December the 7th. Neptune is at the station point, I think, pretty much, at least. I'm pretty sure it is. And but not only that, this is where Neptune's stationing direct. Sorry, where am I here? This is the point where the Venus will meet the North Node next. I'm not going to find that for you. But at this point, we've got all this tide turning energy being pushed forward by Venus in Capricorn, okay? And this is also, though, the degree that Pluto last stationed direct at before leaving a Capricorn for good. 2 + 7, divine feminine, spiritual number. 2 + 7 is 9 endings. Please hope I am right. The patriarchy is screwed. Now then, Venus conjunct the moon. I don't normally look at these things in these videos, but we have a Venus gate at that 27-degree mark, still in aspect to Neptune, okay? And incidentally, in a semi-sextile to the galactic center. This is the throat chakra gate, okay? This is this is healing the throat chakra. We have all these Venus gates throughout the year, 7 gates, but this one is the gate of communication on December the 4th as Neptune stationing direct. After this, on January the 3rd, we have the third eye chakra. And then February the 1st, we have the crown chakra. And then we move into the next Venus retrograde. But this is moving upwards. This is ascending, if you like, to that higher consciousness. But this is moving through the gate of communication. But of course, communication always goes both ways. So what way is it going to go? And it's at that powerful 27-degree mark. Of course, I will be probably looking at all the symbols for all of these degrees in my Substack blog, but I think I might actually just look at the Chandra symbols for that gate. So let's have a quick look for 28 Pisces. This is John Sandbach's symbols, and I can also look quickly at the Sabian too. So we always go up, so it's 28 Pisces. A shy poet in hiding is transforming or receptive. Um, no, Capricorn, sorry. I looked at I looked at that one this morning because I looked at anyway. We want 28 Capricorn, which was the degree that Pluto's stationed direct at, if you remember, that I've talked about already. So this one says a room full of people busily cutting diamonds. And the Chandra is a mirror covered with a film of fine dust. There's a great urge towards perfection here that, rather than being focused, tends to pervade every aspect of one's life. In other words, a desire to better and upgrade everything. The ultimate purpose of this is to bring spiritual light into this realm, and to do so, hopefully, in many different ways. At worst, though, the impulses of this degree may manifest as mere obsessiveness that lacks overall coordination and depth of purpose. The Chandra symbol, a mirror covered with fine film of dust. This degree is aware of all those things which can cloud vision. It knows that the only way to see things clearly is to keep clearing away all the non-essentials, side issues, and self-projections. It's not an easy task, and in fact may seem at times undoable. It is learning in the current lifetime how to look beyond these obstructions, how to sharpen the picture of anything by listening to your intuition, and also how to focus on the bigger picture rather than obscuring and distorting details. When the diamonds of the Omega symbol are cut, the light is allowed into them fully, and by the same token, the dust on the mirror may be wiped away, which is an unending task, or the inner vision may take over so that the spiritual light may be perceived. Now then, let's have a quick look at the Sabian for this as well. I have to type because I'm going to put Pisces in, so I am, a little bit all over the place. So 28 Capricorn, a large aviary. If you think about what an aviary is, birds of a feather flock together. That expression gets at some sense of communal working as a positive potential for this symbol. But be mindful not to be obscured by gossip. Okay, that could be the dust, all right, on there. So in a more positive light, this really is about paying attention to the common elements that bind us, that keep us together, the communal sensibility. Okay, I'm not going to go on with the symbols. I want to finish this journey up. So that is on December the 4th. And then we have some very astounding little things to happen. The last major aspect that Venus will make is on December the 6th, as she's about to leave that sign on December the 7th at 29 degrees 56 minutes Capricorn, where Pluto is as at the start of her journey. And she meets Ceres, Venus and Ceres, mother-daughter, if you like, or the great mother and our earthly desires. And these two meet at the end of Capricorn, these divine feminine energies or feminine archetypes, whatever you want to call it, saying it's time to petrify the patriarchy. Then Venus moves into Aquarius the very next day. Venus moves into Aquarius. Neptune is stationing direct, will station direct later that day. Venus moves into Aquarius, and yes, I'm moving a little bit further ahead. Then on that day as well, she leaves and she moves. Oh gosh. December the 7th, Venus also meets Pluto, but Ceres moves in. I've been eyeing this for so long. Then Ceres will also conjunct Pluto. And all of this is happening as the sun is opposing Jupiter that day, really kind of staring the light of the sun into the face of Jupiter and our perceptions and the new ideas and the new laws and the new rules and the new judgments that are coming through. Mercury was Cazimi, the sun, right before all of this. And this zero Aquarius mark has had so many hits. I did a whole video on it called Fools and Lovers. We can link to that, I think, as an end card or one of the links, but you can also search it on my channel. It was also the last point where Venus met Mars, and Mars stationed retrograde the day before at 6 Leo. I really do feel, and I'm going to show you the cards, that the patriarchy is being petrified, frozen out, and things are moving in the right direction. I know I keep saying it. I know I was wrong with my election prediction, but it's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist. There are things emerging, but I'm not the judge. I'm sure some of it's wrong. Some of it's just like, chatter and things. But it is a fact that Harris is fundraising for recounts, and her staff apparently have been ordered not to speak to the press about it because I guess as a prosecutor, she wants to hold her cards tight to her chest and what information she has. But anyway, let's look at the cards. So the first card I pulled, these cards are all amazing. I pulled all major arcana, which really kind of says we are in this major time. So the first card I pulled is the art card, the Sagittarius card. This is the principle of integration, synthesis, and synergy. The quote for this is, "The point is to unify and harmonize the opposites, both positive and negative, by discovering a ground which transcends and encompasses them both." That's by Ken Wilber. But this is about, in order to come into the artistry of who we are, it's important to balance the paradoxes, oppositions, or polarities within our nature and within everything. And you can just see all this. This is the alchemy, mixing in the chalice, which could be the Holy Grail in some ways, which is Venus. Then the next card we have, and this is why I love this deck, because this is the Libra card, Justice, the scales of justice. And this is the balance, principle of balance, justice, and realignment. And the quote for this in my favorite book, Angeles Arian's book, is, "Know thyself, nothing in excess. The self is required to balance the self." And that's from the Book of Rooms. This really is about negotiation and truth. Okay, so this is, really about justice, because it is called justice. In other ones, you can see is perfectly balanced, but it may also refers to coming within first to get balance. And then, like, oh my God, by the time Venus leaves, and look at this card for I'm a little bit mind blown. I really did just kind of pull these cards. I'm just trying to. This is the Star, the Aquarius card, the principle of self-sufficiency and talent recognized by others. And the quote for that is, "We convince by our presence," Walt Whitman. The star is the universal principle of self-esteem and confidence. It is the state of radiance and confidence that is neither inflated or deflated. The quality of looking within and trusting what is there is symbolized by the figure looking toward the guiding star within the cup she holds. The word confidence comes from the root base to confide. Confidence is the ability to confide in and trust oneself. But I do want to give you my interpretations from my book. So, and bear with me. So this is actually the Temperance card, the Sagittarius card, which is compromise, patience, moderation, higher vision, and peace. And then we get the Justice card, which is actually the Strength card, is courage, taming chaos, inner strength, solidity, and compassion. If we go as card 8. However, if we go to card 11, and in the 11th degree was contained. But anyway, that's accountability, justice, fairness, and balance, which feels right for me. And then the Star card. Wow, this is inspiration, renewal, downloads, positivity, and peace. Peace out. I love you. I do really think we are on the way out of all of this.